Well, howdy folks, welcome to Mower Mike's Garage. Today, we're gonna play with a Husqvarna trimmer, all the way from Sweden. I'm super pumped about this. And what we're gonna do, we're going to show you how to use a $16 carburetor off the Amazon to fix her. Because what's going on, I mean, this thing, either it's running at no throttle, or it runs at full throttle, or it doesn't run at all. And so what I did to fix it, of course, I start screwing every little adjustment screw and knob on this thing, and I've totally foobarred the whole carburetor situation. You would think I would know how to fix a carburetor, but me and two-stroke carbs, we just have always had a very tenuous relationship, I will say. So with that, let's go ahead and zoom on in and see if $16 all the way from China here in Texas the next day, see if this is going to work out for us on this Swedish Husqvarna. Stay with me. All right, so let's get to disassembling. We got a shot at the side of our Husqvarna. First, take off the air filter. Ooh, she looks a little dirty, as we say. All right, and then down below the air filter, you got two 8mm nuts. Just rip those suckers off. Boom, boom. And when you pull it off, make sure your choke is in the middle position, and then we've got our carburetor, and it should just slide off. It might be a little stuck on here. There we go. And go ahead and pull off your fuel lines. Oh, come on. You know, something interesting I found out is Husqvarna is actually one of the oldest companies in the world. Yep, they've been going for 340 years. Started in the 1600s making guns. Everybody used to make guns back then, I guess. All right, so we got our fuel lines off. They're a little crusty. And then once we got our fuel lines off, go ahead and take out, there you go. It just slides out like so, out the side. So that's it. Now we've got our carburetor off. Yep, it's that easy. So let's go ahead and take a look at the new setup and get her rolling. All right, gang, what we got laid out here is our $16 carburetor kit. Yes, I ordered it yesterday. It's at my door today, all the way from China. $16. I can barely get a hamburger these days for $16. Yet I can get all this crap from China. I don't know. Anyways, stop rambling. All right, what do we got here? We got ourselves a brand new carburetor. We got new fuel pumper bulbs. We got all new gaskets. We got a new air filter. Brand new spark plug. LZT. So it must be some Chinese brand. We got some new fuel filters. We got two fuel filters, fuel line. This trips me out. We've got an adjuster. So this is to adjust your carburetor. I have never seen a carburetor kit with an actual adjuster. It is technically illegal in the United States to sell these adjusters because they don't want you messing with your carburetors. All right, so that's what we've got. Next, we're going to pull it back over here, and I think what I'm going to do first, because what I like to do is replace the fuel lines and the fuel filter while we're at it. I think that's very important because these fuel lines get pretty stiff. So let's dive into that fuel tank here. All right, folks, hang on. We got the super duper close up here for you on the fuel system. Now, on the fuel tank, you're going to see two lines. The line furthest from the lid, that's going to be your suction line. So this is the one that provides the fuel to the carburetor, and inside of here is where you're going to have your fuel filter. So this fuel filter is inside of here, tied to the end of that suction line. The return line is the other side. That just throws back extra fuel into the tank, I think. So let's go ahead and just yank them out. I know this is probably not the best way to do it. All right, so that one just broke off. There's going to be a little tiny nipple inside of this that we just broke off. And let's see if we can get the other one out here. I'm sure you should probably cut this, but here's the way I'm doing it. It's like a rubber band. Whoa, hang on. She snapped. All right, so we've got them both off. Let me go ahead and jiggle this upside down, see what pulls out there. Oh. Come on. Come on. Oh, we got something came out. All right, so you can see this is the suction line here. You can see we got a real professional operation going on. All right, Well, let me go ahead and pull it out and not make you watch this disaster as I get fuel everywhere. Hang on just a second. All right, so let's start with getting that suction line seated up in there. You see, we're gonna slide in the slit, and I'm gonna throw a little lube on there because getting these things through those holes is always a bit of a challenge. Hopefully a little lubrication helps. I got my fancy Knips pliers. Come on, baby. Go through there. Just get all started. Whatever you do, don't light a match. Try to heat up the holes. You might blow your hand off. All right, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna keep feeding this thing in there. See if we can't get enough in there to snag it on the other side, because my goal would be to get my Knips pliers underneath here. And I see it. There we go, look at that. So I snagged the bottom of them with these pliers. Guys, you're gonna have to have these offset pliers in order to get this to work. All right, there we go, there we go. Could have fooled you, huh? All right, so we're gonna pull that all the way in there. Oh, come on. A little more lube always helps as we pull her on down. There we go. All right. Now what you've got to do, you've got to pull enough out, through that hole in order to get your fuel filter on there. Well, this seems to help when I pull it straight down instead of awkwardly through. All right, so we've got this right here. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do another snip just because I put a lot of stress on the tip. Let's see if this slides in there like so. Boom. All right, so you've got your fuel filter. All you do, you slide it back in there, and that's your new fuel pickup tube. All right, gang, for the return line, in theory, what you would do, you'd slide it in the hole, slide it all the way up, and then put this tip on it and slide it all the way back just so that tip sits on the inside. But since I cut the fuel line, my fuel line is way too short, I'm not gonna be able to do that. So all I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna slide that tip in there just a little bit. So just the tip like so. And then, this thing is so tight, I think it'll be just fine. I ain't too worried about it. All right. All right, gang, you see, with a lot of trials and tribulations, I was able to push both of them down in there. Now, I wish I had more on this one, but I'm hoping that I can get my nipple in the hole right there. You really want that nipple in there to hold that return line. Oh my gosh. This is not how you do it. Typically, you'd want more length on that sucker. There we go. There we go. That'll work good enough, huh? All right. So we got our nipple on there. And then what I'm going to do, we're going to pull this up to said nipple. Now, really, that thing's so dang tight in there. All right. All right. Whew. So we got both lines in there. Now, let's get the carburetor strapped on. All right, next go ahead and slide on your carburetor. Just remember, fuel lines, the fuel nipples go down. All it does is slide on there. But before you do that, you want to go ahead and hook your throttle cable. It just slides in there like so. Boom, boom. Super easy. After all the struggle, the hard part really is going to be your fuel lines. It always is, but man, I tell you what, it is good to replace them like that. So go ahead and cinch it up like so. And then we're going to go underneath here and just push your fuel lines on there, and we should be good to go. I'm not even going to show you that part. All right, so this is just a close-up of how it's going to look. You really want to make sure that carburetor is flush with your intake and push this plastic piece all the way out, because that's going to be your throttle right there. You can see right there, boom, boom. And then coming down underneath, you can see your different lines. So that's going to be your return line, your intake line. And then next, it's super easy. We just reinstall said cover. Yeah, I think you guys can figure that out. Throw a new air filter on there. Screw it. Let's go ahead and strap this thing together, and we're going to go straight to the end and see if it starts up. All right, folks, I'm not going to leave you hanging. We're going to go ahead and finish the job. I was about to say screw it, Just make sure to put your gasket on there. You're going to have a new one on there. And then when you install the cover, go ahead and put your choke lever sitting all the way out. That way you can slide it up on there like so. And then that's going to slide over there. Then you're going to have your two little screws here sliding over there. These are 8 millimeters. So get these guys on there. Easy breezy, as long as you haven't lost your other screw, which I have not. I'll tell you what, those fuel lines, they're important, but something about getting fuel lines into the hole just always is a challenge. Now, you don't want to put a whole bunch of torque on these like I am, but you know, I'm a little impatient. All right, so we got that on there. Then you just go ahead and throw your new fancy air intake, and I've had this thing for about 6 years. It is actually a great trimmer, even though it's two-stroke and it totally annoys me. All right, so with that, and then if you want, throw on a new, that Chinese spark plug, but for me, I'll probably just clean up the old one because I hate those Chinese spark plugs. Fill her up with gas, make sure there's a little oil in there, and let's get her started up. All right, gang, I sure hope this works because my yard looks pretty gnarly right now. All right, so we got the new fuel filter, new fuel line, new carburetor. Screw it, let's give it a rip. What? First pull! Holy cow, did not expect that. Let's do it again. She's warming up a little bit, warming up. All right, gang, I've been playing around with this carb, and I have found out the factory settings are way off. So a good initial setting is that you want to turn them both all the way to the right. That way you're setting both of them in. The one closest to the engine is actually for idle. The one furthest out is for full throttle. All right, so a good initial setting is just to turn it one time out from a lightly seated all the way in there. So we're going to do one time out, and that should give us a good initial setting. So let's go ahead and try that out. Again, you go ahead and try it without changing it, but if it runs like crap like mine did, go ahead and do a one turn out, and then you just tweak it just a little bit from there as you need to. I'm not to go into all the details of adjusting your carburetor. That's a whole other story for a different day. So let's test it out, this one turner. All right, so we adjusted our $16 carb. One turn out. Let's see if it runs a little better and not fill my shop full of smoke. I tell you what, that's a whole lot better. Now realize this is a $16 carburetor, so she ain't gonna be perfect coming from the factory, most likely. So a little tuning's probably gonna be necessary. I think that one turn out does it just about right. I'm gonna go ahead and link all the tools in this $60 carburetor kit down below so you can have your own fun. It's cheap. I ain't saying it's gonna work, but it seemed to work on this Husqvarna. So with that, I'm out of here. I'm gonna go up to Canada, check out my buddies, and we'll do something again next week. Mower Mike out.